Good morning. Today's video was sponsored by one of our numbered members, 642. Thank you very much for understanding the importance of my dream of wanting to build a house in Thailand, and all the donations will go towards building this sanctuary, this dream, the dream of Lena. And hopefully you would like to contribute. Anyway, what is the topic for today? The topic is control. I find it fascinating, the issue of control. How can some people have the power? How some people want the power and some people want to give the power to somebody else. Now, let's take a boring example of what is happening in Thailand now. We've been good boys and girls here in Thailand, and now our curfew is not 10 to 5, but 12 to 4. Yay! Something to celebrate. Remember when you were a teenager and your mom would tell you, get home by a certain time, and this was like, oh, no, don't tell me that. It's so embarrassing to you sit there with the friends chatting and maybe even drinking, and then you look at the watch and think, uh-oh, Mama's gonna be like mad if I'm late home. It's like, guys, I have to go. No, where are you going? I have to go home. Mom told me to be back by 10. And this just felt so wrong, like you are still a baby, you're still a kid, and you don't have the freedom to decide when you go home and when you have to come back. It always aroused resentment in most people. Yes, parents are worried and blah, 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 and that is for a reason, sure, we can all justify it, but it just felt wrong. We are old enough, and we thought that we were old enough to decide for ourselves what time we're going to come home. Some parents were lenient. Some parents would let their children decide what time is appropriate for them to come home, but they're in the minority, right? And then when you get a girlfriend or a wife or you're living with a partner, your partner would tell you, well, don't get home too late. I hope to see you home by 9 or 11 or 7, whatever else, so we can have dinner together. And then you still need to rush and keep in mind the curfew. And it felt wrong as well. It's a lot more comfortable to have the freedom to be able to move as you like, right? Now, think about Samui. Samui is an island, a tropical island here in Thailand, governed by the law of Thailand. So, same as Bangkok, the rules are the same. Now, there's probably under 1 million or 500,000 of people here on the island at the moment. Most of them are tourists. Tourists who save up all year to go on a vacation, on an exotic vacation in Thailand, relax on the beach, rent cheap prostitutes. Yes, perhaps. There's sex industry in Thailand, sex tourism in Thailand is a very popular thing. Yes, and prostitutes are cheap and sort of easy to get. Want to try some drugs, which is also widely available, want to get pissed, want to go clubbing all night, want to eat delicious food, want to have romantic dinners on the beach. 9, 10, 11. Now they come here and this is curfew time. And everything closes really early, so they have to go back to the hotel and sit there. Can't even watch TV. Well, they can play with their iPhone, I guess, but there's not much to do, right? You have to be home by 10. And here in Samui, in the last 7 months, there were no protests. Nobody killed anybody. Nobody went there with the flags. And there were like 5 or 6 people, or maybe up to 100 people back in November or December going, ha, we love Thailand. But they came to the protest with their kids. And there weren't that many people at all. And then it all vanished because people got bored of politics. Anyway, there aren't any soldiers, there's hardly any police. People are not interested in politics, and especially foreign tourists. They don't even know what's going on in the country. Yet, this law covers all of Samui. Is it designed for the people? No, it's not, because we have to use our logic. Authority is authority, but if we use our logic and we think, okay, I am a tourist here, I came for my long-awaited vacation with my 2 kids and a wife, and I'm staying in this hotel, and I'd like to see nightlife in Thailand. I want to see the night market, which isn't there, and I want to see this and this and have dinner late and have a drink. But if I have to leave the crowded area, the popular area, the central area at 9 p.m. and have to go home, that takes away all the fun, and who knows how long it's going to go for. It's not logical. Now think about all the businesses that are run by Thai people and foreigners on the island for tourists. You have to close early. That's not good for you, right? What are you afraid of? There aren't any soldiers to control you. There aren't any protests. People are quiet. Nobody is interested in politics. Yet everybody suffers. Everybody suffers. Everybody's business suffers. Vacation suffers, and so on. Nobody wants to be home by 9 in the hotel. What are you going to do? You want to go see the nightlife? You want to go see this and this and this? Who decides? Is that our mommy telling us that you should be home by 9? It's the same kind of feeling. Yet people blindly listen to it because it is the authority, the law. Who knows, if I disobey, maybe I'll be arrested and might have problems, deported, refused to enter the country again, whatever. Do you see any soldiers? No, there aren't any on Samui. Yeah, maybe hiding somewhere, but I've never seen them. So why do we obey this authority? Is the authority there for the people? Do they have our best interests in mind? Over the past 6-7 months in Bangkok, there have been protests, and under 20 people died. Under 20 in 6 or 7 months. That is a very small number. That many people die in a month. Twice as many people die in a month in Samui from motorcycle accidents. Nobody cares. Nobody makes the curfews or don't drink and wear your helmet and don't drive a motorcycle if you don't know how to do it. You can do it because it's about money. That is also power on a small level. Power on a greater level, power in Bangkok. They could have closed the central area of Bangkok and told people go home early. Yet it spreads over the whole country, and people here are like zombies again, listening to the authority that they decide is their authority. How do you feel towards soldiers and authority? How do you feel? And soldiers are just carrying out orders. It's basically one person who decided how it's going to be, and one person who woke up this morning, was it last night, and decided it's not going to be 10 to 5 anymore, it's going to be 12 to 4, because you've been good boys and girls and the businesses are suffering, so let's extend it to 12 to midnight. Yay! That's a reward. How is that person different from us? Is the DNA different? What does he have in mind? What is his mind? We don't know. Yet we obey his orders. How silly is that? We want to obey. For peace and stability. What peace and stability? Samui has always been peaceful and stable. There's nothing going on here. Use your brain. If you want to go out and open your restaurant, open your pub, you can. People will not come too, because they're afraid that something will happen, because the embassies have warned foreign nationals traveling in this country, go home before 10. And now it's going to change to 12. Yay, nice. We can go to the club. And like Cinderella, when it's just 5 before 12, the club will close and we have to run home, because our motorcycle will turn into a pumpkin. Silly. Maybe this is envy. I envy the general. And see how easily he can control people of different nations living on this island or traveling around Thailand, being on this island at the moment, against their logic, against our logic. When the orders go against the logic. Yet we watch TV, we listen to the news, and the candy tastes so nice that we swallow it. We don't rebel. We don't go outside. What is this control? What is this power? Is it because they have weapons? The weapons are 1,000 kilometers away in Bangkok. There's nobody that's going to shoot us here if you see us walking on the street. Why do we obey? Why do we want to obey? You don't. Would you? Some people don't, but most do. And what most do, it sets atmosphere. All the shops are closed, nobody's on the streets. You can't go anywhere because there is no night market. It becomes evening market, with everybody looking at the watch. Is it time to go home yet? Mommy will be angry. Big general in Thailand, in Bangkok, will be angry. Spoil my vacation, go for it. Control, control. Something in my eye. Oh, an eyelash. And somebody told me that if you blow on an eyelash and make a wish, it will come true. Guess what my wish was? You can't guess, really. Maybe you can. Not being very subtle with wishes, usually. People are direct. When people ask you, what do you want? I want to serve you, give me tasks. I give them tasks. Yet it's not what they want. And if you're a newcomer, if you're just watching this and have not watched me months ago, just one thing I want to remind you and everybody else, that serving another person is doing what they want, not what you want to do to serve them. Is obeying what they say, if you want to obey, not obeying what you want them to say. Another example here. Now, Sapphire and I are collecting donated toys for the orphans. And the orphanage is not on the island, it's off the island. So people here on the island donate the toys. It's a lot of phone calls, a lot of messages before I arrange the time and find out where they live and take the car, drive there, pick up the toys, bring them home, offload them from the truck to the veranda and collect a whole pile of toys and take them somewhere and wait until there are more toys so that the truck is full before we go to Naton, get on the boat, pay the money, tickets for everybody, including the car, because you can't hand carry that much toys. Take the boat for 2 hours to the other side of the land, to the mainland, drive for another hour to the orphanage, probably stay the night because you're not going to make it to the last boat because somebody woke up late and so on. Give the toys to the orphans, the clothes and whatever else they need, and sleep somewhere, right? Maybe at the temple, but maybe not, because at the temple everybody sleeps in the same room, and it might not suit some people. So you probably go to a motel nearby, pay the money, sleep there, the next morning go to a restaurant, eat, then go back to the boat, buy the ticket for everybody and the car, take the ride back, swim across the sea and come back home. Done. You just gave the orphans what they needed. Sending them money, the money would probably be spent by the head of the orphanage on certain substances that are legal or illegal. And that happens a lot everywhere. Some people like to buy cars, some people like to buy drugs or alcohol or something, but not toys. And they're not going to go to the nearest city for 2 hours or an hour to buy toys. It's just not going to happen. So the orphans will be exactly where they are. So you can't just deposit the money into their bank account and say, oh, well, do whatever you like with it, then spend it for the good cause. Because people naturally do not spend the money for the good cause, usually. So there's a lot of investment involved, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice. And this is serving others. It's not easy. It's not like, oh, I really have a lot of something, so dump it on somebody. Because I don't need it, so might as well donate it. All this old stuff, all the old clothes, just donate it. Somebody, can you pick it up? Picking it up is easy, right? I mean, calling somebody to pick it up is easy, but when you have to do it yourself, when you have to plan and take it and invest your own money into it, it becomes a job. It's a good job. It's just like any other job, serving other people. You have a purpose, you carry out the mission. Purpose is fulfilled. Kids are happier because they have clothes and you bring them fruit and everything else. They don't really buy fruit. They just feed them with rice and some stuff. But anyway, the point is, giving is not easy. Serving others is not easy. And sacrifice is part of it. Thinking is also part of it. And it has to come from your heart. Deciding, oh, I'm not in the right position to do it. I'm saving for a house. I don't want to donate to orphans because the boat ride, the hotel, and the tickets for my friend because she doesn't have any money, and then we need to feed her lunch. That's like 5,000 baht, which sums up to about, I don't know, maybe $200, $300 altogether with everything. That's the trip. Why would I spend it if I can save that money and go buy myself new shoes, a couple of pairs, or save for the house? Yet you know that that is something you can do and you want to do, and you do it. How do you know what to do? How do you know when to do it? Because you think about it, you observe, and you see when things need to be done. In my case, I tell you what needs to be done. I make it easy for you. I have not done it in the beginning. I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And people keep on asking questions and swearing of their devotion and endless love and so on. Yet I don't see any practical results. Okay? Somebody wrote a poem. There's been a lot of poems. In the beginning I started to collect the poems. When you write a poem for somebody, or when you buy a bottle of perfume in a department store and think, I'm going to give it to this woman. For a moment, leave your body, leave the eye, get into her body and think, do I like perfume? Do I like poetry? You don't know the answer to that. You might know the answer to that. You might ask them. And poetry and gifts is like perfume. Why are there many brands of perfume? Because every woman likes something different. And some women are allergic to perfume. Not allergic, but allergic isn't like, please don't use any. They don't like it. So it's not the best gift. Please don't get offended with this. I have never read poetry in my life. I have. There's only one book. And then my mom read it to me before I could read. The author is called Omar Khayyam. I don't know how to pronounce the name in English. And they're short poems about wine, women, and life, and philosophy. And I love them. I love them from childhood. This is the only poetry I've ever read in my life. Yes, that's sad. That's sad, but that is a fact. And I might say that I have never used perfume. Why? Because I don't like it. Now imagine if you see somebody giving Lena a bottle of perfume, you'd probably think, wow, I wish that guy knew that she doesn't actually use perfume. That it's not going to make her happy. But imagine you are the person who's giving. And you bought that bottle for $20 or $10. You think, wow, she's definitely going to enjoy it because she's a woman. And my friend said that's a good brand. So the opinion changes. Lena is not about gifts. Lena doesn't like to accumulate things in this room. When something comes, it has to go. And at the moment, it's pretty bare. Considering how long I've been here, I can load everything up in a box and leave the box somewhere, and I'll probably never remember about what was in the box. There's a teddy bear, there is some Buddhist books, yeah, there's postcards from you. Yeah, maybe you want to see it too. I've never shown you. There's a monkey that I got for the birthday, and you know who this is from, because it's from one of you. So it's here on my wall, and there's another one, you might recognize it back from Christmas. Yay. And there's all the Buddhist stuff. Can you see it? It's too dark, right? And there's our pendant. Remember the cancer patient? Yeah. So that's what's around. But things, let's say like this. All these stars were made by hand by my Thai friend, and this was a gift. That's a lot of time and effort. And there was something in the stars, like buried inside, with a rope tied to the cork of the bottle. So when I opened it, there was a little string, and I pulled it, like, wow, what a surprise, what a creative idea. Is it expensive? No, but that's an idea that counts. What am I going to do with the bottle later? I'll probably put honey in it. It's a nice bottle and a nice wooden cork. I love the shape. It'd be perfect for honey, pouring it on fruit. What am I going to do with all the stars? I will not keep them for 10 years or 20 years. I appreciate the effort, but the stars would have to go. Accumulating things makes you heavier. It pulls you down. It's like your anchor. Now, where am I getting with this? It's not about gifts. It's about gestures. It's about ideas and about showing that you care, showing your devotion. Not with words. We're all practical people. Words mean very little when they're not followed up by actions. I don't know if it's a quality of a typical S-type man or a quality of all people. There is a lot of talk and writing and very little action. You can say the same thing about me. But at least I don't talk. I don't talk. I don't make promises. Don't make false promises. Why? Because if I know I can't do something for somebody and I might change my mind, I would just not say it. So the resentment yesterday. An email saying, from a native English speaker. First I thought maybe it's a language issue. From a native English speaker there was an email saying, I really don't understand what you're talking about nowadays at all. Wow. And that's sincere. How can you not understand what I'm talking about? I'm speaking in your language. You have eyes, ears, nose. Just like me. You see what's going on in the world. Yet when I'm talking about these issues, the chewed food, the news, whatever, it seems to make perfect sense. And the other one, just under that email, was, Lena, your topics are really boring. Can you talk about something interesting? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's interesting. What's interesting to most people? I think they're fascinating topics like that. that we are not really in control of the society, that things are not done for us by the government. We think that they're done for us. If they were done for us, if this curfew was done for us, why would all the businesses and tourists on Samui suffer? For the safety? There was always safety. It's not logical. If you only stop for just a little bit and think what makes sense and what does not make sense. My favorite one is 154. He's really good at reasoning. You are really good at reasoning and defending others. And I said something about doctors a few days ago. But doctors will just prescribe you the pills and let you go. And your mom is a doctor, and she cares about her patients, and she builds a relationship with her patients, and she gives them advice on how to change their diet, perhaps, yes. Sometimes patients need medicine. Sometimes they can fix their problem with a lifestyle change. True. And doctors like that are good, but they're not the majority. Maybe they are. Nothing is absolute. Nothing of what I say is absolute. Yes, some reporters will tell you the pure truth. They will be standing there in front of a flooded area with a microphone and saying, well, there hasn't really been much damage and people are pretty happy and enjoying the new scene. If they think it brings something into their life, it's something different, and they're really happy that none of their relatives died. I think that reporter will be fired because there is no drama. It doesn't sound like, what? That's not what we want to see. When you tell the truth, it's more or less mild without exaggeration. There isn't any disaster. Even in the Philippines with the earthquake and tsunami, right? Now, I know a lot of people in the Philippines. When I was calling them, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Did you notice anything? No. Are your relatives fine? Yes. Your friends fine? Yes. Are their families fine? Yes. Okay, yet there are numbers of deaths and people on the radio. So if you balance it out by the good news, it all neutralizes it. Yes, there was a tsunami. Yes, people died. But many people were saved and many people were untouched and did not die. So there's a happy part of it. We don't talk about the happy part. The earthquakes here in Thailand, you probably heard about a few weeks ago that there was a strong earthquake, 6.3, wasn't it? And there was some damage. There was one person who died. And after that, there were 100 or more than 100 little earthquakes. Yes, there was a little bit of damage here and there, tiny little bit. You never hear about that because the earthquakes weren't strong enough. There weren't any people dying and so on. And the person who died in the earthquake, she was very old. She was in her 80s and she died in the hospital. So maybe she would have died that day anyway, or a week later. News, doctors. Yes, there are good doctors who care about their patients and give advice. And yes, there are news that are true. I'm talking about the 80-20 ratio. And usually, all is decided by the majority. Hello?